Hello, this is the leader of Team Get Wrecked Robotics, and this is an event report on Battles Maker Faire 2018 in Orlando, Florida. This was one of the biggest events of the year with over 120 bots spanning over 7 different weight classes, all the way from 150 grams to 250 pound heavyweights. I took my fairy weight PFR and my ant weight backstabber there, and I didn't see they could have done better, but I'll go more into that later. This event report was inspired by channels such as Team Cerberus, Team Small Robotics, Team Panic, and all that stuff. I'll put their links in the description since I can't talk right now. So also, if you hear a beeping, that might be my smoke alarm. Someone commented about that in a previous video. My dad replaced the batteries, but it's still doing that, so we might need to call a professional about that. But enough about my home safety. Let's get into the robots. Okay, first up is PFR, but before we get into the fights, let's talk about the improvements. So, several things. First, PFR used to run on AAA batteries in a stack like this, where it would connect directly into the receiver. Now, this worked okay, but at Clash of the Bots, it went 1 and 2, and one of those losses was definitely because of the battery pack. So I was fighting Full Body Spinner, and PFR was doing well so far, but it hit me right, but Starflower, that's the name of the Full Body Spinner I was talking about, it hit me right in the battery pack, which caused one of it to fall out, one of the batteries to pop out, which meant no more energy was going through the wires that was leading to the receiver, and PFR lost by knockout. So to make sure that didn't happen again, my phone got in the way, my phone just got in the way. To make sure that didn't happen again, I switched to a LiPo battery. This is the first time I've ever used them. From Nanotech. I hear they're good at LiPo batteries. I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff. So, several good things came from using a LiPo battery instead of AAA batteries. One is because of weight, because 3 AAA batteries in this plastic monster took up a lot, and I really do mean a lot of weight. So, with the LiPo batteries, it was lighter, which allowed me to put on extra armor, like these little Zwangers. So, you know how Bronco has the Pwangers? Well, I have Zip Wangers. They're made from zip ties. And I add on a little back armor for horizontal spinners, which is just a piece of a door. And I definitely needed that for this competition. Speaking of which, my first fight happened to be against, guess what? A horizontal spinner. Its name was Paw Print. It had a 3D printed horizontal spinner. And let's see how that fight went. So, as you can see, I started to drive PFR backwards. This is because that's where the metal plate was, and hopefully it would be able to break Paw Print's spinner, and then maybe I could get a couple of lifts in with the weapon and possibly win by jet decision. I was hoping this could happen since their weapon is 3D printed, so it wouldn't be as strong as a metal weapon. As you can see, I held my own for a little bit until they got a hit on the left wheel and tore straight off. I decided to do what many people in the robot combat community call crab walking, and I was doing pretty well for my first time ever having to do that. But as you can see, I had very limited motion, and I was just barely avoiding getting counted out. I also noticed that throughout the fight, Paw Print would just randomly stop. I don't know why. Maybe there's too much power going to the weapon, which is why I had to stop it sometimes, and they're having a little bit of drive problems, but they just kept coming back to life. Once again, I just kept trying to keep the metal plate backed up to hopefully not get my other wheel torn off. But in the end, even though PFR survived, it wasn't enough to win judge decision, which Paw Print won pretty convincingly. And PFR loses its first match of the day. Now, despite what you saw, PFR actually didn't take that much damage. All that really happened was one of the wheels got torn off, and the Zip Wangers got a little bit ripped off, but I could just glue all that back together, and PFR was ready for its next fight. However, because the world hates PFR and does not want to win, its opponent after that was another horizontal spinner named Last Minute Effort. So for that fight, I actually put on a little bit of back armor to help protect the wheels as well. It was made out of PFR's little eyebrow zip tie things. So hopefully that bad protection would be better than no protection, because I was worried that fight was going to be a repeat of Paw Print, and let's see how that went. So we started this fight feeling each other out. I was making sure to keep the metal plate pointed at last minute efforts at all costs. They were driving everywhere, hopefully to mess me up, and
PFR absorbed a couple of hits. Tiny pieces were coming off, but so far it still had both its wheels on. Eventually, last minute effort got stuck on one of my wires, which required us to get taken apart. Now, I didn't actually notice this when we got stuck together, but when we got unstuck, I noticed that in that last hit, last minute effort actually tore off one of PFR's wheels, so this fight automatically became exactly what happened versus Paw Print. Luckily, like before against Paw Print, I was keeping the metal plate point at them, but last minute effort was doing way more damage. We got stuck again, and the officials were not happy about that. They said that if we got stuck again, they would just end the fight and do judge decision, which I would definitely lose. I was actually able to get a little lift on last minute effort, but that lift allowed them to get hits on my top, which caused a lot of damage. And once again, I lost by judge decision. It did not end well at all.
So, unfortunately, because PFR lost its second fight in a row, it is now out of the tournament, but I'm okay with that. PFR was never really built to win. It was built to be something different and be entertaining and entertain people, and I think it did just that. This tournament also showed me that PFR's biggest weakness is horizontal spinners, so I'm gonna need to find a way to fix that since it fought two in a row. As you can see, the Zip Wangers, I'm calling it that now, patent pending, are completely destroyed. They've been ripped apart, all that stuff. There's entire chunks taken out, but that's okay because they're zip ties. They're not that expensive, so it's okay. More damage done by last minute effort. If you look at the receiver, you can see little scratches on it, which literally means last minute effort was only a couple inches away from actually cracking it, breaking something, and just killing PFR horribly. Speaking of killing PFR horribly, that also would have happened if they had gotten a few more hits on this LiPo battery. Actually, the little connector thing, it got a little cut too. I don't know if you can see from here, but more importantly, the actual battery pack itself took a couple hits. As you can see, the little sticker got ripped up a bit. Also meaning that last minute effort was only like a hit or two away from causing a major LiPo fire. The metal plate on PFR itself is hanging off by a thread, and as you can see, PFR is trashed. Surprisingly, the electronics still work to some extent, so I was able to do a quick grudge match against Spark Remover. I couldn't fix the zip ties. I didn't care enough to fix them, so I just glued on one of PFR's wheels and slapped it back together with tape, and just threw in the arena for the next fight. Let's see how that went. Let's see if I can at least win a grudge match.
As you can see, for the first time for the entire tournament, I'm able to drive PFR frickin' forwards, since Spark Remover is not a giant F-off horizontal spinner. And I was happy about that because I talked about this weapon a lot on Reddit, and I really wanted people to see what it was capable of. As you see, I already got Spark Remover turned over, and actually they got a little stuck on one of the Zip Wangers, so we restarted the fight. I let them start the fight right ways up because it was a grudge match, so it didn't really matter, and I wanted the fight to be more fun and entertaining. We smacked into each other a couple times. I just kept spinning the weapon all around because I just didn't really care. I put them into the corner. I just kept being able to outshove them, but they were clearly way faster. They were driving all around, but for some reason they kept getting turned over even when I didn't get a perfect lift on them. Eventually, time ran out, and that was it for the fight.
So, in case you're wondering who won that fight between I and Spark Remover, there's no official winner. There was a grudge match, and the audience was too busy watching the bigger bots fight to pay that much attention to this fight, and the judges were on lunch break. So I and the driver of Spark Remover just decided to call it a tie because why not? However, you can comment who you think won the fight in the comment section below. Do you think Spark Remover won the fight or PFR won the fight? The full fight is on my YouTube channel in case you want to see that instead of just the fast-forwarded highlight I showed on this video. Anyways, that was it for PFR at Battles in Maker Faire 2018. And as you can see, it did not have one official win, but I'm okay with that. It barely won a Rumble at Clash of the Bots 2018, the first contest it ever went to. So I didn't have high expectations for PFR. Once again, this bot was not built to win. It was built to just be entertaining, be cute, and be something different. And I hope you guys liked it. But now let's move on to my new bot, which is an Antweight Backstabber. Okay, next up is Backstabber, my brand new 1-pound crusher bot. And its first fight of the day was against bolt harvester, and angled bar spinner. We were actually seated next to them in the pits, and they are some really nice guys. They even let us check out their bot, and that was very nice of them. But let's see how this fight went.
Okay, so honestly, I didn't really know what to do against a bot like Bolt Harvester. It was such a weird shape, and its weapon kept on moving all over the place, and it was just flopping around everywhere. And I knew getting a grab on them was going to be difficult. It was also the first time I ever drove Backstabber in a fight, so that didn't help. But eventually, he caught me on the side, and this happened. That did not go well. I decided to tap out, and Backstabber loses.
So after that very embarrassing loss, Backstabber is moved to the losers bracket, and luckily, the only damage it really took was a big gas to the side of this wheel here, courtesy of Bolt Harvester, but all the electronics were good, so it was ready for its next fight against a 3D printed drum spinner named Gumbo. Let's see how that went.
So I knew right away, in order to avoid major damage, I had to keep the wedge pointed at Gumbo at all times. The fight started off with them getting a few scratches on the wedge, but luckily no real damage was done. We ended up tussling a little bit. I even pushed them to the side of the pit, trying to get them in, but I missed. Speaking of missing, I keep on missing with the crusher because the wedge is too steep. For some reason, Gumbo seems to have drive and weapon problems. I also get him stuck on the wall a little bit, but unfortunately they were able to get back down, and the fight continued. For some reason, their ESC burned up, which is the smoke you saw earlier, and once again I tried to get a bite on them, but they drive off right before I was able to get the crush. I keep on trying to get little crushes on them, but I keep missing or just getting a few nicks in. However, Gumbo doesn't seem to be doing very well. Eventually, for some reason, the robot just straight up starts smoking, and the drivers tap out, giving Backstabber its first ever win.
I can't believe it. Backstabber has actually won a fight, and this is the first time I have ever won by KO in my entire Combat Robot career. I was so happy about this. I've never won a fight for real. I had that one Rumble win with PFR in Clash of Bots, but that was more for fun. It was an actual win in the actual bracket. Backstabber seemed to be going places after this. But seriously, the only real damage done to Backstabber were a few scratches when the drum of Gumbo was still working, but that's about it. There are a few things we should note about this fight. One is that Gumbo, it took a little while for it to actually get to the arena. The team behind Gumbo was having problems, and they're very close to having to forfeit. But luckily they were to get it done in time, but I guess the repairs weren't good enough, which explains how it caught fire at the end. Secondly, as you likely saw, one giant problem with Backstabber is it has what I would call the Petunia problem. Let me explain. So, remember that fight with Petunia against Captain Shredderator? How it took Petunia like 3 tries to get it into its crushing beak because the wedge was so steep? That's basically Backstabber's problem. In order to get a crush on the robot has to be 100% up the wedge. So it's good against defending against horizontal spinners, but against anything else, it reduces the amount Backstabber's actually able to stab, so it didn't actually get any stabs in, despite its name. But nonetheless, I actually got a win, which is one more than I expected, and Backstabber moves on to the next round. And its next fight was against what I believe to be a 1-pound Weta kit named Serenity. Let's see how that fight panned out.
So just all I'm gonna say is that this fight did not end well.
And that there is why Backstabber is in such a sorry state, why she is so messed up. Let's get into the damage. As you can see, the entire wedge got completely bent upward, courtesy of Serenity, and a little bit of the side has just been chewed away, completely broken because it's 3D printed. And the reason why so many of the screws in the wedge are gone is basically just because I could not find them. Serenity threw them somewhere, and there's no way I was getting that back. It's gone. So we had to order new screws if we want to fix Backstabber. And with its second loss, Backstabber is out of the competition. But But hey, it got one win, and that is not something easy to do with a Crusher. Like PFR, I did not build Backstabber to win. I built it to be different and entertaining, and I think it accomplished that. And once again, I got a win by knockout, and I'm really happy with that. So don't worry, Backstabber, this is not the end of Backstabber. She will be back soon. We have new parts. We have new sassy pieces to replace the old cracked ones. We have we bought new screws, new servos. We're gonna hammer out the wedge. Everything's gonna be back. Backstabber will be back. And that ends my 1 pound fights at Battles and Make It Fair 2018.
Okay, so even though I was done with all of my official fights with PFR and Backstabber, I was actually able to get a few extra fights in thanks to the guy from Team Cerberus. He had this just funny looking joke robot Beetleweight named Mobile Arena. It was pretty much a big wedge, not even a wedge. He didn't have enough weight for the wedge like you see in the picture, so it was just a big box, and it had two little Hexbug toys in it, Tombstone and Witch Doctor. And the idea is that they would fight inside of the arena, which is a robot, while that robot fights another robot inside this bigger arena. It's crazy. I don't know how to describe it. He let me be the driver of Tombstone, and let me just say, it was amazing to fight with him. He inspired these videos. I wouldn't be nowhere where I am without him. So go subscribe to his channel, and also that's where I got the fight footage you're about to see from. He's the one who uploaded those videos to his channel. I wasn't able to get footage of it. That's where the footage is from. It's from his channel. All credit goes to him. And our first fight was against EF5. So yeah, once again, I was the driver of Tombstone. Some other kid was the driver of the Witch Doctor Hexbug. And all three of us knew this was not going to end well. But you can just see that for yourselves. So it was clear from the beginning that we were both having problems. As you can see, EF5's drum spinner keeps hitting the ground, which is why the robot's bumping everywhere. And for some reason, Mobile Arena, it seems to only be able to go forward and back. It can't seem to turn. I, in the meantime, as Tombstone, am just having my own little fight with Witch Doctor. And everything is just crazy. It's worth pointing out that even though Tombstone is moving, I actually have very limited control over it because the Hexbug doesn't have the best signal because it's inside a plastic box inside a big Lexan arena. So everything, I don't have words to describe this fight, to be honest. EF5's doing whatever it can to make this fight actually be a fight. The guy controlling Witch Doctor keeps doing whatever he's doing, and a wheel just falls off of EF5 for no reason, and we're about to win by KO until the guy from Team Cerberus accidentally drives into the pit, and we lose, and this disaster fight is finally over. A drum spinner named Cybershock was our next opponent, and right away he broke us open, and the guy controlling Witch Doctor and I were just all over the place, while Mo Arena got stuck on its side. And everything was just crazy after that. Cybershock tore off one of my wheels on the Tombstone Hexbug. And I don't know what's going on with the Witch Doctor guy, but everything has gone horribly wrong. He went after Mobile Arena a couple times, while also trying to go after us. Mobile Arena ran over me a couple times, and everything just... it was just hilarious. I get run over a couple times again, and I'm just spinning around in circles, seeing what I could possibly do. The Witch Doctor guy's having trouble too, because once again, the Hexbugs are having trouble with signal as I get hit by Cybershock, throwing me up in the air. And I'm actually trying to get a hit on Witch Doctor just because, and as you can see, the other side of the plastic whatever on Mobile Arena came off. And Mobile Arena is now just a base with wheels that's stuck on its side and about to get counted out. But somehow it gets back on its wheels and back into this fight, if you can call it that, as it pushes its own broken part. And everyone is just laughing. No one understands what's happening. Everything is just crazy. Once again, I'm just spinning around in circles. Witch Doctor gets a little nick onto Cybershock. Mobile Arena is using its big wheels to drive up on the weapon, which for some reason is not working on Cybershock. And this fight eventually ends the same as the last fight. Eventually, Mobile Arena, for some reason, accidentally drives into the pit, and then we are just straight up done. That's the end of that.
And that is the end of my journey at Battles of Make It Faire 2018. And it was an amazing experience. I got to meet so many people who inspired me to build these robots and get into fighting robots in general. It was amazing. I have several shout outs that I need to do. Once again, subscribe to Team Cerberus. That's where I got the footage from. In fact, the event report itself was inspired by videos by Team Cerberus, Team Panic, Team Small Robots, Robert Collins with his robot combat stuff. I'll link them all down in the description because they are amazing guys. And to all the people, like actual competitors from the BattleBots TV show, they were so nice. They were amazing. I got to meet people like Ray Billings. I got to meet the guys from Blue, the guys from Witch Doctor, Tantrum, Axe Backwards, Captain Shredderator. It was just amazing to meet all these guys who I've watched on TV and have them actually talk to me. In fact, the guy from Kraken liked my two-wheeled Green Crusher. I wonder why. It was a dream come true. And speaking of the guys from Blue, they actually, shout out to them, they actually gave me a free Bot Kits towel. I love this towel so much. I'm gonna link their store in the description so you can buy stuff from them. And it was just amazing. And that's my first ever event report. I hope you guys liked this video and others. And it's been nice talking to you guys. And before I end off, I'm going to show you some videos that I took while I was there and some pictures. But for now, this is it. I love you guys so much, and have a great day.
They're trying to get it going. These are definitely battle.
I've seen what you see how big you make.
Look at that one. Oh, I don't know. It's okay, that's the high. Thank you. That's what? I don't want to look at robot.
That's why Witch Doctor is kept on the way. You don't deserve
How did talk?
How do you get used to driving something that can go in every direction?
Very hard. Okay, so let's do the fail-safe drive. Perfect. Put it in the center. Stuck on something. Alright. You ready? Good? Ready? Here we go. Now try and go back. That was full power. A little bit of a deck. Good? Good?